Welcome back. The Egyptian political scene is busy as usual with many events, including the key laws that are recently approved or were recently approved or being under discussion at the Shura Council. Laws such as the Islamic bonds or Sukuk and the parliamentary elections law are expected to have serious political and economic impacts. And shedding more light on this very complicated issue is our guest, Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, a member of the Shura Council. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. And now, my first question is that Yasser Hamza, a member of the Freedom and Justice Party's legal committee, had said last week that the Shura Council is now governing a parliamentary elections law that will be finalized in about 15 days. Is this true? And what are kind of the processes going through right now within the Shura Council to finalize a parliament law?
Actually, you know that there was a previous parliamentary law that was issued by the Shura Council, but now there was some objections against in the court, and it's now referred to the Constitutional Court, to which said it's not going to be. There's some objections, constitutional objections in the law, so that's why they stopped the elections after being called for. So we had one of two choices: either to wait for the Constitutional Court to refer the previous law back to the Shura Council after studying it, and then the Council has to work with the previous law, or to issue a new law. So the Council decided to issue a new law to fasten the process, and instead of waiting for the Constitutional Court to revise it, might take about 2 or 3 months again, revising the law and then referring back to the council and then getting it back again to the court. So they decided to start a new law. This is going to be discussed next Sunday. They will start the proposed law. Until now, there's only one proposal, which is offered by the Wasat party. It's not yet proposed, it's not yet discussed, but probably they will start discussing it next Sunday.
Okay. So that means that having this new parliamentary law is a sort of maneuver to avoid the delay, as you said, as you just said, of 2 months. So they want to accelerate the process by proposing a new law.
It will accelerate the process. Yeah.
What about the content of the first and the second laws? Are there any differences?
The second law is not yet shown in the session, so we don't have much detailed idea about the details of the new law. But the first law was published, and there was some objections from the Constitutional Court. Actually, there were 11 points. They were referred previously from the Constitutional Court to the Shura Council, and the Shura Council made some amendments according to the Constitutional Court, but few amendments didn't meet the constitutional requirements. And the most important point was a point about the military service. There was a big debate about this point. When the Constitutional Court said that they won't allow those who didn't fulfill the military service, and mainly there was about the people who were prevented from joining the military service. Those who were for political reasons, they were not allowed to join the military service. And the Shura Council at the beginning, they wanted to allow those people to run for the parliamentary elections, and I was actually with this point because some of those people who didn't have any court judgment to prevent them, and they didn't quit the military service intentionally, but they were actually forced to, or they were not allowed to join, mostly because of political reasons. But when the Constitutional Court said, according to the Constitution, they cannot run for the parliamentary elections, I was then with the modification of this point, but the majority didn't agree to modify it, and they insisted in giving them a chance to run. And this one was one of the main reasons that made the elections to stop.
So if the Shura Council drafts a new law, will this new law also be referred back to the Constitutional Court?
It must be referred to the Constitutional Court because according to the new Constitution, there is what you call early or approval from the Constitutional Court. So it has to be referred to the Constitutional Court before issuing the law.
Well, you're drafting a new law to avoid a delay of 2 to 3 months, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
How do you guarantee that they're going to agree to this new draft law? I mean, what did you change within the content that you believe will have them get this law approved?
There is no guarantee, of course, but the logic makes sense that they have to avoid the points that were opposed by the Constitutional Court. They should avoid it, and they should be more, they stick more to the Constitution. Now, we know that the Constitutional Court will not allow any article in the law that will be against the Constitution.
Sir, we want to shed more light on the discussions. How are discussions taking place between the majority of the Shura Council and opposition like yourself?
You know,
are they responsive to your concerns? And
it's really hard to answer this question. But of course, everyone has his right to say his opinion under in the session of the Shura Council. Sometimes it's hard even to say your opinion because so many people who want to speak and to share in the discussion. But most of the time you can say your opinion. But the problem is, at the end of the day, it's a voting thing, and when you come to voting, when the majority insists on their opinion, they will pass their opinion. But they should learn that it's not only by voting, it's not only the majority who should control things. And I think the previous elections law is an example, because myself and other people, we were opposing the law, and we said it has some points which are not constitutional, and these are the same points that stopped the law.
And you were proved to be right.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it happened to be right, and the Constitutional Court supported the minority opinion. And if they listen to the minority or the opposition opinion, we wouldn't be delaying the elections.
Now, a few days ago, the lawmakers passed the first Sukuk law, and the country may raise as much as $1 billion by June from sale of its first Islamic bonds. Now, what do you think of the Sukuk law, first of all, your opinion of it as a member of the Shura Council? The negatives, the positive, maybe a brief explanation of what it really is, because the average viewer might not know exactly what Sukuk law is, and I mean, an average citizen wouldn't have even heard the name of the term Sukuk before. So if we can get an explanation of what it is, negatives, positive, and what you think of it.
Of course, it's a new term in our country, but it's known in other places and it's applied in other places. It's an important part of what we call Islamic economy. And this was actually previously also proposed as the Islamic Sukuk law. It has this term, the Islamic Sukuk law, and it was shown to Azhar to discuss it and tell their opinion, and it was refused by Azhar. Then they decided to make another new law, and they removed the term Islamic from the title. But still it remains an Islamic law, or Islamic way of Islamic finance, because when you read all the articles, it's permissible by the Sharia law, and it's all according to the Islamic law. The main difference, it's very complicated and has different types of Sukuk bonds. We have around 27 different Sukuk bonds, but the main theme of it doesn't stick to a fixed interest as the ordinary banks do.
It's fluctuating.
It's fluctuating, and when you share in the Sukuk law, you share in the gain and in the loss. So you might lose even your money when you share in the Sukuk law. But when you do invest in a normal bank, you wouldn't lose your money. You usually get at least a minimum interest for this. So this is what the main difference, and this is what makes it more permissible by the Islamic law, that it's not a fixed interest, but it's a kind of sharing in the way. Of course, everybody will support any tool that will nourish or support our economy. We are in a great deficit in our budget. The expected budget deficit this fiscal year, 2012-2013, is around $26.7 billion.
Wow.
That's really a great deficit, and especially after struggling to gain the loan from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. We were expecting to get $4.8 billion from the IMF, and so far it's not agreed for. and we're struggling to get it. So we are in a great need. Actually, the Minister of Finances, he said that the Sukuk law will allow around $10 billion. They expect $10 billion to be coming into our economy, and this will support the economy. Of course, there's some debates about the Sukuk law. There's some the new law that was approved. It's different from the one which was opposed by the Azhar. Many articles we try to change as much as possible, especially the parts which were people concerned about, like renting the key assets of the country.
Sovereignty, basically sovereignty of the state.
Of course. The key assets like the Suez Canal, the pyramids, everything that's really strategic and important. So there is a main article in this law, in the new law, that says that the country key assets are not part of this law. They will not be allowed to be shared in the Sukuk law, but it will be mainly directed to new projects. But still also some people are not actually very clear about what new projects will be like. Will they be also be strategic projects or not? Will foreign countries would be investing or would be actually
invited to join?
And of course so far it's allowed for foreigners to invest as in any other investments, but we're not sure actually. Some articles are not very clear if how much will the investment of the foreign investment will be in our country, how much will it be effective, how much will be in new strategic process. Of course, it will not be allowed in the capital or the current strategic process. But what about new strategic process?
Do you think that it was deliberate to leave some articles vague, waiting for or pending several interpretations for their need in the future?
I think so. I think it was intentionally made this way, and especially with insisting of the majority, the Freedom and Justice Party, not to offer the new law to Al-Azhar to tell its opinion.
This is another point that needs to be
we had a big
discussed.
debate under the parliament, and even the Salafi party, the Noor party, was the opposition. We were actually insisting to offer it to Al-Azhar to get its opinion.
So it was the Freedom and Justice who wanted the law not to be referred to Al-Azhar.
They insisted hardly not to do it. And even my opinion, this part might be a problem in the law itself, and it threatens it to be non-constitutional.
Again.
Because actually the Constitution, it says in one of the articles of the Constitution that any new law that's related to the Islamic Sharia, it must be, the opinion of Al-Azhar must be taken. Even it's not obligatory to the council, but it must be taken. So according to my understanding of the Constitution, that we were obliged to take the opinion of Al-Azhar, but we are not obliged to follow the opinion. The Azhar might refuse it, and the Shura Council has the right to insist on doing it.
Well, hasn't the Azhar already refused it?
They didn't offer it to Al-Azhar. They didn't ask Al-Azhar for opinion.
Do you think that this is a fear that the Azhar will refuse it?
Yeah, probably there was a fear that Azhar will refuse it, and this will change the public opinion if the Azhar refuses it. It's really interesting. I heard that this morning in the news that Al-Azhar is insisting to study the law, even if they were not asked to tell its opinion. But I heard that in the news this morning that Al-Azhar is going to study the law next week, so and they will tell the opinion anyway.
Is there a threat that if the Azhar reviews this law, they could somehow try to revoke it?
Yeah, though it's not
I mean, if it's deemed unconstitutional, is there a threat that this law could be revoked?
Yeah, it might be revoked by the Constitutional Court just because they didn't take the opinion of Al-Azhar, because of course there's also different interpretation of the Constitution itself. But in this article, many people and myself, I understand that it's a must in any law that's related to Islamic Sharia or Islamic laws. It has to be taken, the opinion of Al-Azhar must be taken. And this law is, frankly, it's an Islamic law, it's frankly related to Islamic Sharia, so I believe that we had to take Al-Azhar opinion.
Okay, based on what you were just saying, we mentioned earlier in our interview that the Shura Council introduced a new law, a parliamentary law, to accelerate holding the elections after
Yeah.
the Constitutional Court rejected. It was a maneuver, as we just discussed. Do you think that eliminating the word Islamic bonds, the word Islamic, also is another maneuver to accelerate and to prevent it from being rejected, as Reem said, from Al-Azhar? I mean,
yeah.
we're talking about maneuvers and different atmosphere.
Politics is about maneuvers. When you speak politics, it's about maneuvers. But sometimes maneuvers are not clear, and sometimes they are too clear to be done. Like when you remove the title Islamic from the title of the law, and then when you read the articles, it's all about Islamic laws, and in the form of the constitution, it has to be supervised by some people who are religious people, who are religiously qualified people, who will supervise the organization of the Sukuk bonds and how it's going. So it's frankly, it's an Islamic. So when you remove the title or put it, doesn't it change the content of the law itself?
Oh.
Okay, Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, member of the Shura Council, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
And again, I'm questioning how you're working in such unhealthy atmosphere.
Well, we're trying to play our role, even if we're a minority. But we believe that we have to say our opinion. We have to share as much as we can. Though we try to change, you will not be able to change all the majority opinions, but at least you should try. You should play your role and be honest with yourself and your country as much as you can.
What do you expect for the coming period in terms of, I mean, everything on the political scene right now happening, and within the Shura Council and also the parliamentary elections? What do you expect? What should the citizen expect?
Actually, the coming time is not really clear what's going to happen, but it's really the authorities, the president and the government, has to take real steps to calm down the political situation, to improve the economy, to improve the tourism, to improve the investing. Many things has to be changed in order to proceed in a good way.
Absolutely.
Dr. Freddy Elbaiady, member of Shura Council, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. And right now we're going to go to a really quick break, and we'll be right back with more on The Breakfast. We're going to take you a little bit away from politics, so please stay tuned. We'll be right back.